Back in the cave. The cold cave. Oh boy, the cold cave. Let's get the boat, all the gear, all my gear ready to go. I gotta make it out to the coast again and get all my gear swapped onto the other boat and get that sucker out fishing. Fishing. It's funny, people always ask me what a lot of people say, would you rather, if you had to make a choice, would you rather guide hunters or guide fishermen? And I'll tell you what, one thing to take note of is, I find, is guiding anglers is far more stressful to me than guiding big game. Because when you're on that boat, in that water, doing the same heat laps or possibly sitting on the anchor waiting for the halibut, and if there's no fish, there's nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing you can do about it. And it kind of sucks. Very odd time it happens. There's no action. And it can be kind of stressful because you have to be like a motivational speaker when you're a guide. No matter what it is you're doing. You are the one that has to keep it upbeat, fun, positive, work hard, never quit, and make things happen. And people are spending good money to do that, right? And if you have to actually give a shit, it can be challenging between the ears at times, especially once you notice, like when you're fishing, when you're guiding anglers, and when it sucks, everybody starts getting quiet. You run out of stories, and then everybody's kind of sitting there bored, wondering if we're going to get anything. And then you got to try to stop yourself, because as you're fishing a certain spot, you can't help yourself. It's like right here, right off this rock. We got a 42 pounder last year, whatever, right here. And then you go by that rock and nothing happens again. And it can be really challenging. And it's not because the fishing guide knows how to catch fish, obviously. But if the fish aren't there, man, there's nothing you can do about it. And it can be so frustrating. Now, if you try to compare that to guiding hunters, in the Rocky Mountains or wherever, when you're sitting there on the mountain, you can, if you got a guy who's hunting sheep, all right, and it's not happening yet, you're not finding a mature ram, you're not finding any rams, but at least you can mix it up. You can take your clients to the most epic, unbelievable sights, views. You can show them moose, you can start mixing it up and show them elk, grizzly bears, mountain goats, caribou. There's always something real cool to see all day, every single day, no matter what, as you are going along that journey of trying to find and harvest what you came after, So that's about the one major difference between guiding anglers and guiding hunters, is when I'm guiding hunters, I am confident I can blow their socks off every single day with something cool. When I'm guiding anglers, if there isn't any fish, it can be very frustrating because there's nothing you can do about it, But that doesn't happen very often. There's always, you can usually pull something off, especially when you're halibut fishing. But anyway, all those thoughts come to mind as I'm getting closer to go time for getting the boat ready, getting out there and getting that going. But in the meantime, I got some voices over here. Sarah's at work. Place is pretty quiet, the animals are fed, and it is absolutely pouring rain out. And I mean pissing. Pissing rain. Alright, here we go. I don't know what this is about, but it's titled Important Message Preview, Matter of Life or Death, Steve. All right, let's get this going. Well, it's pouring rain. I'm going to leave once I leave here. I'm going to get some more gear ready to go to the boat. I'm probably going to head out there tomorrow. The rivers are going to be blown up from all this rain. It's just pissing. Now, listen to this. Matter of Life or Death, Steve. That's a different kind of email title. Please read by yourself first, Steve. Hey, brother, this is Scott H., the guy at Desert Hot Springs with his wife who thinks you're one great guy. Actually, we both think you're great. Remember I wrote you and told you how I came across your channel by accidentally leaving on YouTube when I went to the head, and I heard my wife talking to her friend on the phone when I hear my wife say, wow. And tell her friend on the phone how she was looking one hunk of a guy on TV. And this is not something she's said very often. She must have been drinking. I'm kidding, man. So getting my curiosity up, I had to see who she was talking about. So I hurried back to the living room where you were standing by yourself talking about Bigfoot. And they have been an interest to me all my life. So that was 10 months ago. And we've been avid fans ever since. Love the outdoors, fishing, camping. Not much on hunting, only because I was never taught. I think you remind my wife of her dad. He was a no-nonsense kind of guy who always spoke the truth and no one ever messed with him. He was a man's man, tough but funny, hard as nail kind of just a real nice guy who wanted to be friends. He wanted to be friends with a lot like you. All right, enough of these kind words to me, man. Anyways, to my point in emailing you, Steve, and thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. My wife Jerry had a stroke on May 1st this year. Fuck. When they got her to the hospital and CAT scanned her, they found a tumor in her brain that was cancerous and had spread through her body. It had spread too far, no hope for a cure. I just found all this just a couple days ago, and I'm devastated. But when I went to leave our home to get back to the hospital to see her again, she asked me to bring our Fire Stick. It's a device that gets all channels for any TV anywhere. Just in case you do not know, so I asked her why. As she said, it's been a week since we have seen Steve on How to Hunt. She needed her Steve fix. We both laughed for the first time in over a week. So I can only imagine you're like me in a way of putting you on the spot like this is not cool. I know this, and I'm sorry if I do, but if there's any way you could wish her well on your show, I know it would mean the world to her, and that would mean a lot to both of us. I know I'll be taking time away from a share, and they're important. I know, but if you could just make it short and sweet, I thank you, Steve. I do know that at least 20 to 30 people that have turned on to the show that watch almost every day will see it. Not to mention it'll probably buy a smile on my wife's face for a week, and you can't get better medicine than that. If you feel you can't or won't do it, don't worry. It's just a thought, and I won't say anything to anyone if I don't see it. Thanks again, Steve, for all you do. I'm sure you have helped hundreds, maybe thousands of people get better from this. So, from one manly man to another, you're the best. Keep it up. Good work. Take care. God bless. Go ahead, use my name, Scott H. My wife is Jerry from Desert Hot Springs, California, where I live, if you want. All right, Scott. It's too easy, man. Now listen, Jerry. You got this. Sounds like you're a positive lady, that's for sure. I am the power of prayer is very powerful. I've learned firsthand, direct. I remember when I was dying, a handful of years ago, being told I was dead, and there was a lot of people in a lot of churches around North America praying for me through my various friends that I had shared the fact with that I was not doing so good, and I made it. But I wasn't fearing the death part. I was actually getting kind of stoked, in a way of thinking, wow, I wonder where I'm going. This ride's going to be crazy, I don't want to start babbling about that, Jerry. It's pouring rain. What I would like to do, if I could, is possibly take the camera and show you a whole bunch of cool shit around here. If I could, some amazing sights while you're hanging out in there, hammering on that battle, which I'm sure you are. Maybe I could put some, I don't know, there's nowhere I can really go. I would like to show you some very cool places around here, but I can't right now. It's just, you can't see anything. It's shitty out, and that's very unfortunate. But I'll think of something. But in the meantime, Jerry, keep it positive. You know how that works. I'm sure you are. Just keep it positive and fight and never quit, never give up, right? And there's a lot of people here that are going to be sending out prayers for you, both of you, your family, and your health. And I would not be surprised at all if it made a big difference. What to say? I'm stuck for words right now. Jerry, I wish just wish we could fix this shit. I wish we could make everything better for everyone, you know? But in the meantime, let's nuzzle in. We're all in the room with you right now. Okay, we're all shoulder to shoulder, making fun of each other, smiling, and we're gonna listen to some of these email shares together anyway. Okay, Jerry? So here we go. This is all these shares are gonna be directed to you, and everybody else here that's here at the same time is welcome to listen. But we're all together in Jerry's room right now, and we're listening to people's voices together, all right? Now listen to this. Alaskan Sasquatch, wild fishing, and First Nations man. Hi Steve, my name is Luke and I live in Anchorage, Alaska. Been there a bunch, Luke. I'm 30 years old and I was born and raised here in Alaska. I've been in the outdoors fishing since I was very young and grew up as a fishing guide here. Please share my stories as I need to know if anyone else from my area has had similar experiences. There are other things in these woods besides Sasquatch. I need to know what they are and how to be prepared. My first experience happened when I was 8 years old. It was around the year 2000. My dad and I were on a local river on the Kenai Peninsula looking for king salmon mid-June. We got to the river around 9 p.m. and it was my dad's routine to fish all night from around 9 or 10 p.m. until early in the morning around 3 a.m. The kings run up the river really good in the middle of the night, and during that time of year it never gets too dark, only for about an hour or so, then it starts to get light again. My dad fished all night as I sat on the camp chair on the bank, playing my Game Boy, bunking his fish, reeling in some fish, and picking up old hooks and line off the riverbank. We each had our limit of 2 kings by about 2 a.m., so we packed up and started to walk the trail back to the parking lot. It was about a mile or so back to the parking lot. That time of night, there was no one else still fishing, and it would always creep me out having to hike back in the dark carrying fish. That night we were followed out by something that was breaking sticks, huffing and puffing and making this crazy hooping and hollering sound. My dad said to keep close, it was just a bear. But I knew from the sound of my dad's voice and how his hiking speed increased that he didn't think it was just a bear either. See, that's the shit that sucks. So when they do that to innocent people, especially when they're on their way home, right? It just doesn't make sense to me. Another time while driving the dirt road out from that same river around 4 a.m. or so, we both saw this figure on the side of the road. It was white/gray, no eyes, no mouth, or nose, and it was very skinny, just standing on the side of the road like a hitchhiker would. We slowed down as we got close, thinking it was a local guy or something, but as we got closer, we both realized it definitely was not human. We looked at each other with wide eyes and say at the same time, what the hell was that? After we pass it, my dad steps on the gas and we go flying down the dirt road faster than we ever had before. One summer while working with the Parks and Recreation Department when I was 21, I was on a crew with a native Alaskan guy, First Nations, who was about 50 or so. One day we get to talking and he asked me about a sticker I have on my van. It's of a Sasquatch holding a fish. He asks, why do you have that sticker on your car? Do you believe in Sasquatch? I said that I do believe, and that there was a lot of stuff in the woods I have no clue about, and that not many people like to talk about it. He told me where he was from, Dillingham. They call him the hairy man, and that he's seen a few. He said around Dillingham they are not friendly, and to be careful while hunting or fishing in the deep woods. He told me a story of when him and his wife went out on their boat up the river to go fishing. They'd pull off into a back channel and go up a slough looking for fish. They get back in the slough and his wife says, stop, look. And there was a hairy man standing in the water looking straight at them. He cuts the engine and it just stands there looking pissed, like they had blown up his fishing hole. He takes a few huge steps and is out of the slough and makes this crazy loud roar and is gone within 10 seconds. They say to each other, whoops, I guess this is his fishing spot, and turn the boat around and head back downriver. I asked him, why don't people talk about this more? Because people need to know about these things. He said, The white man just laughs at the native people's stories and calls it folklore and dismisses his people as crazy. So why even try to tell them anymore? I nodded and agreed. I heard you read a story once from a guy telling you about all the different types of these Sasquatch and beings and where about the different ones live. He said all the ones in the Yukon and Alaska are very dangerous, not friendly. Can you please tell me what you know about the Alaskan Sabe and the other things in the woods that are dangerous? I'll also look in the comments if you read my story. Thank you, Steve, you're a good man. Luke from Alaska. P.S. I'm a huge steelheader and I love the video you posted on May 11th, 2022. You hooked a few steelhead back to back. Here in Alaska we have great steelhead fishing. We have great steelhead fishing still, thank God. Tight line, Steve. Whew. Okay, Luke. I think that sounds familiar too. I've heard of a few people who said they're dangerous in Alaska, but that's like maybe two or three. So does that convince me that these beings are dangerous in Alaska? No. The Nahanni Valley in the Yukon, Northwest Territories. Sorry. The Headless Valley, where a lot of people have been gone missing and shown up with their heads lopped off. Who knows who or what that is, but they are definitely, whatever was or has gone on down there, whoever was doing that to make a statement. 100% a statement for every other human being to basically F off and don't come here. That's a pretty good way to do it, right? But anyways, that's all I know about that. I don't know any direct, is that bay? Oh man, my brain's just too jam-packed right now. Sometimes my memory's spot on, sometimes it isn't. But that bay, where is that bay? Near Seward, Alaska? Anyway, where a whole town is apparently ran off. Remember that one? You will be able to find more information about that from your locals in Alaska without a doubt. Or you do a little digging online, but probably better off to find that local knowledge firsthand so they can see it right to your face and fill you in, right? But if you listen to David Pilatus as an example, there's a lot of screwed up shit going on this planet today that we are not informed of. And why aren't we informed of it? I firmly believe it is because the creepy sons of bitches who need and want and need to be and are in control of what we know only pass on to us what we need to know to continue us to be numb between the ears. That's all they want. That's all they need. It's like another very educated, very successful man once told me privately in an email. I'm sure it won't be a bad thing to share this one little tidbit from which I was sworn to secrecy with all of his emails, but let's just say there was a person basically right at the top who said to him, quote, "The government does not care about anything except control of the labor to appease the entity." And that person stressed on the government does not care about anything except that, right? So knowing that, it's up to us to find out the truth about everything ourselves, with each other, amongst each other. It's the only way. It's the only way. You're not going to find it from that effing ridiculous programming tube or in the classroom. It's not going to happen. I'm rambling. I've had 2 coffees. But anyways, buddy, I would strongly suggest you start talking to your locals about that. I'm sure somebody's going to pipe up in the comment section below. But basically around the world, people have been terrorized, tormented, homes banged on, rocks and shit thrown at them, stuff thrown through the windshield of their vehicle, quads flipped over backwards. It's endless, right? But I do not think that just because it's Alaska, you're in any more risk than anywhere else, but that's just me. Yeah, and as far as seeing the skinny being, unfortunately, that has been reported numerous times from other people around the globe. Unfortunately, because me, do I want that to be real? No. Who would? Who would? But I would be a very irresponsible dumbass to not listen to my fellow man when it comes to this shit being reported. I do not pick and choose what is real or not is going on in this lifetime, I'll tell you what. But I will, sure as hell, I'm going to listen to everybody. And if I hear the same thing from people who aren't connected around the planet, I'm going to give it a lot of attention, and I'm not going to forget it, right? And as far as people laughing goes, there's nothing funny. There's nothing funny. As an example, the statement, I just saw a Sasquatch. Boy, that's pretty funny. That really brought down the house, didn't it? There's nothing funny about anyone saying that. So keep in mind, when people laugh, it's because they're scared. There's no other reason for laughing at anything when people report it honestly. Scared people, scared honest, good people report it. There's nothing funny about it. So don't forget, you guys, all you people that are scared of being laughed at, just remember that when the people laugh, they are scared. And that's a fact. But anyway, there you go. As far as the steelhead goes, yeah, man, I'll tell you what, if I could be up there at the same time, I'd jump right in there with you and you can take me and drag me around all over the frickin' place and I won't stop casting. I'd be interested to know how many people out there fish Kodiak. A friend of mine has a fishing lodge out there, but it's geared up for salmon. And I can't remember if there's steelhead on Kodiak or not. I'm guessing there must be, right? I'm gonna imagine. I'd love to go fishing there. Now, moving along. Hope I didn't miss any questions in there. Sometimes I lose myself with these ridiculous babbles, right? Yeah. Okay, here we go. What else do we have? As we're all together in Jerry's room right now, side by side with you. Hope nobody's got any gas today. Kidding. Now, all right, here we go. Let's get into another one. And these are all going to be recents right now, right? Because I haven't. Sometimes I'll try to go through. I'll pick out. I'll just say 6. I think we do an average 5 or 6, and I'll just gonna glance at it. Yep, haven't read it. I'll mark it as 1, and then 1 through 6. Put them on the top of my list, and then I blast them out. And I don't know why, but I'm finding some duplicates in the bottom of this long list. I don't have time to go through them, and I don't want to screw up. So I'm going to take, these are recent, probably emailed in today or yesterday, okay? Now listen to this. It is titled, 2 Dumbass Teenagers. Hey Steve, love your content, sir. Hearing the testimonies of your viewers has called on me to tell my story. I'm from Arkansas, born and raised. Hillbilly pride, my friend. The natural state is obviously mostly a woodland area. Arkansas, I've been there, full of areas for strange events to happen, and they do. We all have heard old stories around campfires growing up. So did I. I'm 48 years young. My name is Corby. When I was 13 years old, my best friend Wes and I convinced Wes's grandfather to let us go out and do some squirrel hunting. So after a few minutes, he agreed. So, Mr. H, who is a solid outdoorsman, takes us to his hunting spot that he had hunted for multiple years. You know, when an old timer tells you about a hot spot, you have to go, right? So Mr. H drops us off and lets us do our thing. So here we go. Two 13-year-olds, fearless, armed and full of piss, head out to do some hunting. So, this area is in the northeastern part of Arkansas. I'll keep the location anonymous to protect the old one. I never had any thought at this point in my life about Sasquatch. It wasn't something that was on my radar, you know. Well, after about 10 minutes of walking, we decided to split up. My buddy Wes had a 12 gauge and I had a 22 rifle. A couple of killers, haha. We split up and walked a parallel path to each other. We were about 10 meters apart moving north. To my right, I noticed something extremely large in the thicket. So I slowed my pace and dropped to a knee and kept it in my sights. With my 22, LOL. We have brown bears here, and at first I thought, okay, that'll be brown black bears. And at first I thought, well, hell, we have to run up on a bear, and of course it's a mother. This could be really bad. My buddy Wes moved back to my location as he spotted it as well. We stood there with this being in our sights. We had to be about 60 yards from it. That's frickin' close. Then out of the blue, the being went from being about black bear size to something I can't explain. I guess it stood up. If I had to guess, I would say it was maybe 10 to 12 feet tall. So at 13 and being foolish, we got scared and opened fire on it. We both unloaded our firearms at it. After about a minute of standing there in silence, the smoke cleared. Steve, we walked over to the location where it was standing and there was nothing, and I mean nothing. No footprints, no blood, no hair, nothing. Only thing we actually found was the impact spots from the bullets. It was like it was a hologram of a Bigfoot. It just vanished. We decided it was definitely time to leave. On our way out of the woods, we stopped at the tree line, and then the tree knock started. I guess he was telling us goodbye. It was like a chameleon and way more advanced than we were. I'm so glad he was smarter than two young idiots with guns. You couldn't pay me today to shoot at one. Anyway, man, thanks for your time. It was a cool experience that I'll never forget. Thank you for what you do, Steve Corby. And there's another one of those ones that's going to make a whole bunch of people go, holy shit. And it's going to make even more people go, seen the same thing. And it's going to make another small handful of people go, get off the crack pipe, you lying bastard. Right? And as far as those people go, I don't even know why they're here. But anyway, that is an experience that the majority of the people who make themselves public in front of the camera and acquire experiences do not want to hear that, and they don't want to repeat it, and they don't want anybody to talk about it, and they will not accept that as fact. They are adamant that these are animals that run around the woods, rutting and peeing and eating and nesting. And migrating too, right? Sorry, it's not the case. But anyway, I will share this story, of course, Corby, as I absolutely 110% believe you. It's been reported way too many times and from people of all different social flavors, including scientists who've seen it happen firsthand straight up, right? So how do you explain that one? Well, so far it can be explained by your vibration, your energy vibration, right? That is, I'm convinced that's what's going on when these beings pull the shit off. Have I seen it? No. Do I want to see that? No, I'm good. I'm good myself. I'm sure a lot of people, other people want to see it, but I'm good. It's a crazy ride. It's a crazy ride. I wonder how many people out there have seen the exact same thing and they still are far too nervous and insecure to come forward and share it with anybody. But they're content just to sit back and listen and soak it in from everybody else, that's fine. That's absolutely cool. But if you want to, you've seen something like these young fellas saw, share it. Speak out loud and share it. There's nothing to be ashamed of, okay? This shit's going on. There's nothing we can do. There isn't one person who can laugh loud enough to make this stop. It's not going to happen. The poor people that laugh instead of using their brains, well, they're sitting in the back of the room alone. Nothing we can do for them. But smash forward and encourage more people to speak. More people. Speak out loud. Quit being scared of people. Okay? Thanks for sending that, man. Appreciate it. That is quite the experience. This sounds like it might be very interesting, this title. This is titled, An Update on My Post-Encounter Counseling. Sweet. Dear Steve, hope you're doing well. I'm not sure if you'll remember my story, as I know you're extremely busy with getting the people's voices heard. I emailed a couple of weeks ago and you read my story, where I fell out of a tree and knocked myself out, only to be woken up and find myself faced with an infant and then eventually a mother Sabbath. Remember it. Before I go any further, I'd like to personally thank you and all the people in the comments who were so kind to me regarding my experience. As many members of the club in No Return will attest, these are not always encounters that one can walk away from with fond memories. The response to my story was heartwarming and succinct, and the responses to those in the comments were uplifting. All of these things have allowed me to take the next step. This is good news. Love reading it. Keep going. I took the advice he gave me of bringing up my experience to my counselor in a way which made me comfortable. In my last session, 2 days prior to this email, my counselor and I ended the session in the same way that we always do. She allows me to speak my mind and almost let me ramble about anything and everything. It is a way of making me feel calm should I ever feel anxious when talking about any negative emotions. I asked her out of interest what her thoughts on Sabe/Bigfoot, etc. was. To cut a long story short, she said to me that she is indeed a believer, though she hasn't personally experienced such a thing. I decided to be truthfully honest and show her your video, where you responded to my story, and her reaction was short but reassuring. I wish you had told me sooner, that's what she said. She almost seemed insulted. She wasn't angry, but she certainly made it clear that she wished I was open and honest. I did explain to her that I thought I would sound crazy, to which she responded, quote, I'm here to help you, not judge you. If you saw a Sabe, you saw a Sabe. If you saw a bear, you saw a bear. Whatever you say it was, if it was real enough to scare you into not going back into the woods, then it is real enough to speak to me about, end quote. By her understanding, she said that there is no way for us to truly know or comprehend what could be out there, and that we as people shouldn't be so narrow-minded when it comes to the existence of such things. We didn't have an in-depth conversation about Sabe or anything, but I could tell that her words and feelings were sincere. She also stressed to me that I get back into the woods as soon as I feel comfortable. I can gladly say that I've somewhat taken the plunge and arranged to go on a small walk in the forest with my uncle for the first time since the incident. However, there's one small detail. I have to first tell him about what actually happened. He knows that I fell from the tree and injured myself, but he doesn't know what I saw. I thought I would email in as this may serve as a little beacon of light and hope to those who are struggling to go back into the woods. Be truthful with yourself as much as you can. I'm not saying that this will, quote, cure me, but I feel positive about having taken the steps towards healing. I still feel that it'll be a long time before I do any camping or solo hiking, but baby steps are better than standing still. I am effed up and letting it stop me from living my life. Oh, sorry, I am fed up of letting it stop me from living my life. I think that hearing you tell me that I should at least chance it with my counselor, as well as those in the comments who told me to be strong and honest, has given me a different perspective. Sometimes you need a metaphorical kick up the ass from someone. If all goes well, I'll email you sometime in the future to let you know how it went. Sorry for the lengthy email. God bless you, Steve, and God bless everyone else in the community. All the best. Rochelle or Rachel? Rachel. Listen, I'm so proud of you for doing that. That is so good, and I'm so glad that you were generous enough to share all that with us. You're helping a lot of people, all right? It's you that's helping a lot of people. And I don't know, maybe possibly drop this video on your uncle and ask him if he would listen to it from beginning to end. And then you can, I don't know, I'm not saying this is the right thing to do or not, I haven't a clue. But if it possibly makes things easier for you to break the ice with your uncle, then give it a shot, right? And as a direct message to your counselor, I would say to you, ma'am, thank you so much for reacting and holding yourself the way you do. That is greatly appreciated. You're going to bring a lot of relief to a lot of people out there who are probably in the same predicament of being scared to share. But so you can take note, we have had people in the past email in that they spoke to a counselor, told them what they saw, and one person actually started being asked about how much of a what happened? They started looking into the person to see if they were a competent parent. Started questioning their parenting skills and how safe their kids were from them because of what they unfortunately saw in the woods. So don't be insulted. Don't be surprised why someone might not want to share with you during a session what they saw in the woods, because The majority of society has shit all over those people in the past and made it not a safe topic and not a safe thing to talk about. And that's a fact, right? Obviously, I'm sure you understand that too. But we have had, okay, here's another one. How about that elderly woman who was, the family put her in a mental institution because of what she would not stand down about what she saw. She would not keep it secret. She would not keep her mouth shut. She told her family what she saw. And she's seen it a few times, I think, in the yard. Anyway, the sad shit-eating fact about that is she was put in that institution, and one of the somebody with true mental disorder beat her to death. That's how her journey ended. Was one people who were close to her deemed her as crazy for coming forward with what she saw, put her in the home, and she got beat to death, and she died alone, feeling probably, how could you feel more alone than that, right? It's pretty disgusting. Sad. It's a sad story. But anyway, carrying on. For all you out there listening to this, and possible other counselors who may be listening to this, listen. Keep listening to these people, all right? Take it into account, and please, please, please support all these good, honest people, innocent people who've had all these shit-eating experiences and don't have anywhere to go because our society is such Western culture. I don't know about the rest of the world, but I'll tell you what. The bullshit we've been fed, the lies, I've had it up to the nuts with it. I've absolutely had it up to the nuts with the bullshit. So tired of it. I'm biting my lip. I'm going to bite my lip. All right. These are great shares today. They are every day. Can't get enough of it, you know? Can't get enough of it. Jerry, how you making out? I hope you're comfortable. Quite certain you're not alone. For real right now today, but if you are, don't forget, we are all squashed in your little hospital room, shoulder to shoulder right now. All right, we're all in there with you right now, today, as we get these shares up. So, let's get another one going here. Man, it is freezing out. It's 3 degrees. 3 degrees out. What was it, middle of May? Global warming. All right, I don't know what this is going to be, but I'll mark it as red. Excuse me. Remember, I'm going for the top of the list down right now, just to guarantee I don't do any repeats today. Note to say thanks. We need your channel to what many are. We need you to channel what many are thinking about. Excuse me. Steve, here in Alabama, we know these things are in the wood. My family's from West Virginia. My mother spoke on not going out in the woods alone due to the woolly boogers. My son saw the Alabama white thing loping, running in a pasture late one night, and it reminded him of a kangaroo. Very strange movements until it cleared a barbed wire fence and then went on all fours very quick. Have been having things in the woods go weird since I was 11. Seen the shoulder of something hairy following us on a ridge over the Warrior River. I know where that river is. Been there. Heard tree knock last year in the same area. Now in South Alabama, we hear things, and we have wolves too, along with coyotes and real swamp monkeys. Not Bigfoot, but small apes. True. Other times too, studied water in the Everglades, deep in, and I've heard some noises many times like a growl, and the knowing you're not alone. I want to thank you for the time spent. I hope it comes back to you many times. Bless your wife for putting up with you. Oh well, she seems to cook like a dream. The Rougarou is real. Carry large weapons. I like a 12 gauge with those small tank buster rounds. Be ready to shoot unless they are holding a white flag. LOL. F Harry and the Hendersons. There are monsters in the woods, and we must not live in fear of them. Trudeau and or Biden, both bitches. Yes, they are. All right, man. The wolf thing. That's an eye raiser for me. Wolves in Alabama. I'm not going to be the one that says no way, but I can tell you this. If you want to lure them in, all you got to do is start a bait pile. They're going to come. All canines cannot say no to their nose. All right? It will come. And wolves, I don't know how many wolves I've intentionally gone after wolves at trail cameras. I don't know how many times in the past, and I've had success basically almost every single time. So I'm sharing that to let you know that if there are wolves in Alabama, that you can bait them in and you will get them on a trail camera to prove it. All right. Other than that, it's going to be a pretty tough one. It's going to be a pretty tough one to convince many people in Alabama that there's a pack of wolves running around. But do it. If you believe there are wolves there, start a bait pile. Put the camera up high off the ground, angled down, not at eye level with the wolves. All right, that gets them on the camera. And if you do get them on the camera, share it with me, and I'll share. I have a lot of friends in Alabama, and I'll share it with them for sure. There's definitely coyotes down there. I think there's a few bears in some parts of the state. Should be anyway. And without a doubt, there are these beings running around down there, whether they're full-time or not, haven't a clue, but they've been sighted. For sure. But anyway, thanks for sending that in, man. I gotta get going. I got some other things to do, but I will be coming back here later today. Maybe I'll bring the camera equipment with me. Possibly. And maybe I will. You never know. If it breaks, because I got a little bit of shit to do today. And if it breaks, then should I share another one? No, I think we'll cut the shy. Cut the shot right now. But if the weather breaks and I go somewhere cool, Jerry, I'm going to take you there. I'm going to show you something cool that you've probably never seen ever before on Vancouver Brown. A sight, something. All right? And then in the meantime, what a bunch of great people there are here. There is a very, very large group of real good people that come and frequent this channel. Absolutely appreciate every single one of you. And this is your channel. This is your channel. The people made this channel. All right, it's freezing. I gotta get that truck fired up, get the heater going, get my ass in gear, and I gotta go get more gear for the boat, and I gotta start tying leaders and getting all my shit ready. So, after that, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna share more. I'm not gonna stop. There's a lot of bullshit going on the planet right now, especially in my country. And I'm gonna add this in. It's a little off topic, but I have to do this. It cost me over $3,000 last night. So there's this prick who is in the Trudeau government in Canada, they are very filthy, dirty people. And they have been systematically taking away the rights of Canadians, lowering the quality of life for all Canadians, making it very difficult to be what we're supposed to be as a free human being with choice, living this life to our fullest. And what they did while COVID was going down, they sleazily slipped in some new gun control laws where they're absolutely hammering on good, hardworking, innocent people, legal gun owners, and under the disguise of it's going to help the RCMP track the bad guys and the guns they use in crimes. Could you imagine? I mean, you cannot be treated with as much disrespect as that alone, because what these people in government are actually believing is that we are so stupid that we would believe that allowing them to track our gun purchases and our guns would directly track the illegal movements of criminals with guns. Holy shit. And yes, that just went down and is going on today in Canada. How amazing is that? The deadline's May 18th, so all you in Canada right now, you have till the 18th of May to purchase some legal firearms that these dirty, filthy pricks will not know about if you get it in before May 13th or May 18th. All right, so get on it. get on it. I definitely took care of business yesterday, for sure, myself. So anyway, there's a little tidbit I had to share with the planet today, is that the Canadian government is taking away your rights to own firearms right now, so it is time to get whatever you've been procrastinating about purchasing, get it done before May 18th. All right? I'll be back shortly.